My name is Johnita DeMatteo, Rome, New York. Law enforcement abuse, criminal court corruption.
All right, so why don't you explain to us who you are in the Tyler and Peeps, as it's called, story.
Okay, I am Peeps' mom.
Okay. And what's Peeps' real name?
His name is Joseph DeMatteo.
Joseph. Mm-hmm. Or as the guys call him, Joey.
Joey, yeah.
Do they just call him Peeps all the time?
Most of them just call him Peeps. Yeah.
And where did Peeps come from?
Oh, one of his friends growing up saw The Sopranos, and there was a character on the show called Peeps, and it just stuck with him. So yeah.
He's Italian.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, mine was I was a baseball player, and this friend of mine saw this commercial. I think it's for Welch's grape juice, and the guy swings a bat, and it had one of these sunburst deals with the word "Bam" in it. Mm-hmm. And so he started calling me Bam, and it's stuck. So when my first granddaughter was born, she had, I guess, heard my wife call me Bam or whatever it is, so she called me Bampa. Oh. And when she very first talked to my father on the telephone, he lives in Florida, she automatically called him Grand Bampa. So isn't that interesting? She knew that it was a step up from Bampa to be Grand Bampa. So
that's great.
So we've got a Peeps. Mm-hmm. We'll call him Joey for this. Is that
okay?
Yes,
I would
Joey?
prefer.
You don't call him Peeps, do you?
I don't call him Peeps. No.
When did you first hear about what happened at the bar?
It was probably a couple months after it happened.
All right, so Joey didn't call you up and say, "Hey, Mom, some people jumped me at a bar in Mohawk."
No, not at first. Mm-mm.
Not even important enough in his mind to even bring it up, or is he quiet? Would he normally?
No, he would normally tell me, but at the time we weren't communicating that much, okay. So that's why there was a delay.
Okay, mm-hmm. We won't talk about that.
Yeah.
Then. So, did you hear about it when he was arraigned, or when that happened? Or?
No, before that.
Okay. Tell me when you found out about it.
Well, when he told me about it, he just he came over to the house and he says, "Mom, I need to talk to you." And he told me what happened and what was going on, and he brought over the tape. I watched the tape, and we had talked about it, and we had talked to his attorney and his father and myself. I think he told me first, and then he told his dad.
Now, we watched the tape together.
Yes.
So you've seen it undoubtedly many times.
Yes, I have.
But I thank you for showing it to me. It's exactly as it was described.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even more tame than I thought it would be in terms of his involvement. I mean, tell me what you see in the tape.
What I see is here's my son coming out of the restroom. He leans up against the wall. He's having a conversation with someone, and he gets pulled out of the bar by 3 people. And he gets attacked.
Yeah, they didn't just take him by the hand and pull him out.
No, they pulled him, all 3 of them. They dragged him out of that bar.
Do you have you come up with any explanation for why?
No, what I was told was that the bar owner told him to move away from the bathroom door. Well, as you can see from the tape, my son doesn't even see the bar owner, doesn't even know he exists, basically, until he walks up next to him. And my son turns his head, and then he gets grabbed, and they drag him out. So he really had no idea what was going on.
Now, he has a hearing impairment?
Yes, my son is deaf. He was born deaf.
I didn't realize that, so I'm scribbling that so that I've got that. Have you ever been in that bar?
No. Mm-mm.
It doesn't look like a quiet place. and there's a huge amount of activity going on in the video. I can't believe how many people there are going back and forth in front of the camera.
Right.
It's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to think, if I was standing there with perfect hearing, if somebody was to say something and it happened so fast, even if the man had walked up and said, "Move away from the door," you wouldn't even have time to react. It was just like boom, boom.
Yeah, there were quite a few people there. It would be hard for anyone to hear it with all the conversations going on. There was a lot of commotion. So when I say commotion, there was just a lot of people in that area talking. They were playing darts. The owner and his brother and his father, they were playing darts. People were coming in. People were going into the restroom, coming out. So it would be difficult for a hearing person to hear someone yelling to them across the room.
Yeah, he stands there. He had his hands folded.
Yes, that's correct.
When people see the video, they're just going to croak
Mm-hmm.
at the thought of there was no wrongdoing on the part of your son.
I know, and that's what is. I just am having a difficult time comprehending that, because you see him on the tape, his hands just folded in front of him, not folded, but just resting in front of him, and he wasn't doing anything. He was having a conversation with the person standing next to him.
Now, he reads lips, obviously.
He does. Mm-hmm.
Now, the man who came up to him associated with the bar is to his left. It's like
That's
he's
correct.
standing there with him almost with his back against the wall. So he wasn't in a position to even have been able to read the lips. But then again, even if he could read the lips, there wouldn't have been time.
Right.
He could have, if somebody's going to ask you to move, they ask you a couple of times. They don't go grab you and put you in a headlock.
Right. Well, he was having a conversation with someone, so he's looking at that person that he's having a conversation with. He's not looking across the bar. He would have no idea that someone's yelling to him.
He doesn't have the luxury of being able to look around and do a couple things at once.
Right.
He has to look at you and watch your lips move.
That's correct. As most hearing people can hear background noises, and if you hear something loud, you can turn. He doesn't have that luxury to do that.
Oh, supposed to get his thing. I don't know if it's just that part, or is it more than that? I don't know. What have you got?
This is a letter that my son wrote.
Oh, okay.
And if you'd like, I could read it.
I'd love for you to.
I need my glasses, though.
Can we get Pete's mom's glasses?
Yeah, they might be in my purse. I think they're in my purse, in the case, on the chair.
Are you still nervous?
Yes.
Are you really?
I am. I just don't like it. I don't like this at all.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yes, I am. I feel very tongue-tied. I feel like I'm stumbling over my words.
Coming across great.
Okay. This is a letter that my son wrote, and I'll read it to everybody. To whom it may concern, I thought I'd write a quick letter of appreciation and thanks to you and everybody who was involved in creating the law library for bikers. I want to show my appreciation to everyone who fought and are still fighting against the type of injustice that plagues our way of life. Never did I think that this small citation of events that foresaw Tyler and I being wrongfully charged and convicted due to actions by other individuals, including law enforcement, and sent to prison would help create something important for bikers all over the country. Hopefully, this law library will reduce the high degrees of harassment that bikers face every time they put on their colors on a ride, put their colors on or ride a bike, or associate with their like-minded brothers who want to ride their bikes without being pulled over, questioned, harassed, accused, or possibly be arrested and sent to jail simply for being who they want to be. I guess I can say that from my experience with this situation, that in the so-called land of the free, we ultimately have to literally fight to be free and to be who we want to be and do what we want to do. Freedom isn't cheap, and hopefully this law library will be taken full advantage of by bikers all over the country. I want to thank my family for being there for me, Hank McGrath, the Executive Director of Bikers Against Discrimination, Lisa Petroselli, and everybody at New York Rider Magazine, all the motorcycle clubs who have helped and stood by us, and the Highwaymen Motorcycle Club for being excellent brothers at a time like this. Always stay strong and don't let anybody take your rights and freedom away. Till I see you on the road, much love and respect. Peace. Highwaymen, MC, New York.
Well, he is a wonderful writer.
He is.
He must have made really good grades in school. That is so well written. I didn't expect that to come out of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, young guy, he's going to have a bunch of grammatical errors, and he obviously even has all the punctuation right because you paused in the right places. And
he does, and he's worked very hard for that because he was mainstreamed when he was little. In fact, he started going to school when he was 6 months old when we found out that he couldn't hear. So a lot of hard work on his part, and for myself and his father worked very hard to help him get to this point because we figured he had to live in a hearing world. So we wanted to give him every opportunity to make his way.
Well, I can tell you that I've read information from literally close to 1,200 people, and that's probably the best written of almost, including people with masters from MIT. Very well written. So
Thank you.
You should be proud, as I'm sure.
I am.
So he gets arraigned and indicted. What are you thinking then?
My head is spinning. I couldn't comprehend it. I'm like, how can this be? I was so frustrated. And, speaking with his attorney, I didn't know what to do. I just couldn't believe it. It was like a nightmare, just a nightmare that was never ending.
Tell me when you were approached about a plea deal. Talk about that, if you will. What happened there?
The attorney told us that the judge said there was another person in, I believe he was in Iraq or Afghanistan. I believe that's where he was, in Afghanistan, that would testify, and he would charge them with gang assault, and that they could face up to 15 years in prison. So we were advised to take the plea bargain, that they would plead guilty for less time. I think they didn't have a choice. I think the judge was trying to intimidate these kids, and they're kids, they're young adults, to plead guilty for something they didn't do, but they were scared and afraid that they would end up with 15 or 17 years in prison. They felt that they didn't have a choice.
Did you agree?
I did agree. I did, but I didn't. I certainly didn't want to see my son go to prison for something that he didn't do. But I didn't want him to see him go for 15 years either. it's hard to. I mean, I guess we had to go by the advice of his attorney, and you know, that seemed to be the best thing to do under the circumstances.
And did Joey turn to you at some point and say, "Mom, what should I do?"